Have you ever heard of different sales strategies where you should grow your sales, decided to go for one of them and perhaps maybe all of them, and then things just didn't work out the way you wanted them to? Or maybe you felt frustrated with the implementation of the strategy. Oh, or you might have even just felt overwhelmed by the unexpected amount of work that the strategy required upon implementing. If you can relate to any or all of this, then you're watching the right video. Hi, I'm Doug C. Brown, and in this video I'm going to share with you 12 steps to effectively implement a sales strategy that can grow your sales, bring money in, and lower your stress levels. Step number 1, be clear on the outcome you want to achieve from the strategy. Let me share with you an example of a client I worked with. They wanted to have more clients, and by using the power of leverage and automation, I designed a 21-day sales cadence for them, which is a series of steps and actions that they're going to take over a 21-day period to elicit a client response to engage them in a conversation. This helped them shorten their sales cycle and work more effectively with less effort. Step number 2, assess your current situation. Get a clear understanding of where you currently are and determine if you have any constraining factors that might prevent you from growing. Also, define any positive aspects already that you may have in your sales strategy that will be helpful in achieving the desired outcome. Step number 3 is create a process for your strategy so you'll know step by step what's happening from the beginning to the ending. Make sure you break down the process and strategy into small parts so you're clear on what must be prepared and accomplished. Step number 4, determine one more time, are there any constraining factors that prevent you from achieving your desired outcome and implementation? If you have them, how can you mitigate them? In other words, what are you going to do about them? Do they need to be taken care of prior to the implementation of the new strategy, or can you work within them? Step number 5 is create a timeline and launch date. First, create a timeline for everything that needs to be prepared before you launch the strategy. Once you have the timeline, pick a launch date. Often I hear people say, pick a launch date first and then do all the preparation that's needed. What I've learned, though, by doing so, is that people tend to underestimate the amount of work and time it's going to require for the preparation. So they end up in tremendous stress, or sometimes with a strategy that doesn't even work well or becomes overly complicated. Of course, you want to launch as fast as possible, but please keep in mind healthy expectations, not to mention your sanity as well. Step number 6, start with all the preparation needed to effectively launch and begin your strategy on time. I had a client who built prefabricated metal buildings, and while working together, I discovered that he had the ability to nearly double his sales quickly. At the time, they were doing $5.7 million per year, and upon assessing his business, what we determined were their constraining factors, one of which was their operations department would be unable to handle the amount of growth that could come out of just that one idea that we had. Well, I asked my client not to implement the new sales strategy we discussed until we were able to fix and prepare his operations department for it. He agreed, but then went forward with the idea anyway. His company grew from 5.7 to 8.2 million in 3 weeks. This sounds good as they increased their sales revenue, but the people working in the company were incredibly stressed. In fact, it got to a point where employees were threatening to leave because of the overwhelming chaos that was happening due to the lack of having infrastructure to support rapid company growth. Step number 7, define the metrics you'll use to measure the effectiveness of your strategy. Step number 8, choose your team members wisely. There's a commonly used saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. You must have other people help you, as it's almost impossible to do everything by yourself, especially if you have larger goals. Step number 9, make sure that every person involved in the execution of the plan knows what to do, how to do it, where and when. Step number 10, launch your strategy. Step number 11, assess your strategy based on the metrics you're using. And step number 12, adjust your strategy as needed or relaunch it if it is necessary. You must have clarity about what is working well and what's not working well, and then adjust accordingly. Leaving unaddressed issues in your strategy will result in leaving precious money on the table for you. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video and found it useful, please like it and subscribe to my channel to hear more about my sales revenue growth insights. Also, please comment and let me know your thoughts, as well as what you'd like me to talk about next. To your success.